got the virus. It's not doing too good.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are good to go.
Yeehaw.
I'm going to give you the short version of what I was saying earlier. The purpose in tonight's meeting is to ask if you would consider legislation that it would be a stay-at-home legislation that other counties in this area are doing. There are 3 counties that have taken action right now, and San Patricio, Nueces, and also Aransas County. All are different, to some degree anyway, all are different declarations. We're asking you tonight to consider a stay-at-home declaration for the city of Aransas Pass. Some San Patricio County cities have already done that. We have not. We've been watching very closely to see what other cities, what counties are doing. We wanted to use San Patricio as kind of a trigger for us, and they issued their declaration today. That goes into effect on Monday, and we're asking you to consider one for the city of Aransas Pass, which will go into effect on Saturday night about at midnight. And I'm going to ask Roxanne and also public safety, in other words EOC, to go over the specifics of what is in the proposed declaration for the stay-at-home order. And then at the end of this, we'll be asking for your vote on this. This is a meeting to take action for the city of Aransas Pass on the stay-at-home. Now, what does that mean to people exactly? That's where Roxanne and EOC will then step into the picture and start explaining the details and the specifications, details of what's in the declaration. So Roxanne, I think we're okay now as far as sound goes, and we do apologize for the lack of sound earlier. Nothing occurred during that period, so we held everything back until we could start again. So all of this is fresh for first time for the council. So Roxanne, if you will start talking about what are some of the details in that proposed order that is before the council right now.
Mayor, I'm Roxanne Pius-Catronio, your city attorney. Over the past couple of days, the city manager, the mayor, and of course your police chief and the city secretary and I have been working very closely to produce the document that's in front of you. I'm going to just quickly give you the structure of what the document has in it so that you'll understand it as you look through it. And then the police chief and Captain Pierce, who's been phenomenal in this entire endeavor, will give it to you in plain English. So let's start. You have the document in front of you. I will generally tell you that this document looks very similar to the same declarations that have been made in Dallas County and in Nueces County. The main difference is that there are provisions in this declaration that are specific and unique to our community, and we will go through those as we quickly go through this document. You'll see on page 1, the whereases contain information. They're historical in nature on what has happened in our country, what has happened in the city of Aransas Pass. For example, on May 16th, your city mayor declared a local state of disaster, and then on the following March the 16th, and on March the 23rd, the governing body extended that declaration for 60 days. You'll also see that there's a summary after the whereases of COVID-19 and its impact to our world and to our nation and city. The mayor is making his decision decision under his authority provided to him under the Texas Government Code to declare and order that there be a stay-at-home order that becomes effective March the 28th at 11:59 until April the 8th at 11:59 p.m. In general, as you look through this agreement, what you'll find is that everyone needs to stay at home unless you're conducting an essential activity or you're an essential business. In the document, you'll find under 2A, it will define what essential activities are, and under 2B, it will define what essential businesses are. It is a very lengthy, long legal document that's great reading. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to understand that essential activities include activities that you need to perform for your health and safety, such as getting household supplies, medical supplies, visiting doctors, and so forth. It also, essential activities allow you to obtain any necessary supplies that you might need to function, which includes food products, consumer products, any household products to run your own residence. We also will allow in our city for people to engage in outdoor activity, provided, however, the outdoor activity, they follow the 6 feet social distancing rules. You'll see our beaches will remain open, provided that people do follow that 6 feet distancing rule that's been implemented in our country. So it does allow for kayaking, boating, fishing, and all those wonderful things that our destination provides us. One of the most important things to our police chief was to ensure that there was no camping allowed during this time frame, and so there will be no camping allowed in the flats of Oasis County. It is also important to note that this order does not impact any child custody visitation agreements, so that no parent can be using the stay-at-home order to keep a child in a particular place as opposed to giving it to the other parent that is under a court order for visitation rights. That generally describes essential activities. I will now talk about essential businesses. While essential businesses are in categories, each category has its own list of what they mean. For example, essential healthcare operations includes many things. It is an essential business. We do have essential government functions as essential. We have essential critical infrastructure. That paragraph might seem a little more in-depth and confusing, but it's actually federal statutory language that identifies 16 sectors in our to the nation functioning, such as oil, gas, nuclear systems, so forth. You'll see, unique to Aransas, we did add education and research as an essential business. That will allow our educators, teachers, and other personnel supporting the public and private schools from K through 12 and any colleges or universities to be able to go to the facilities at school to facilitate distance learning or performing other functions that may support essential businesses or activities. There is a listing for essential retail. One of the questions was asked was that what is essential retail? Of course, grocery stores, gas stations, convenience stores are essential. Cafes and restaurants are allowed to be open, however, they have to follow the drive-through governor's order or pickup order, and the 6 feet distancing also is applicable. There are services that provide services to our economically disadvantaged people. Those services do remain essential and are critical to our nation and our city at this time. Things is any business that actually supports essential operations of essential businesses and essential activities is also allowed. News media, of course, is essential, and child and adult care services are essential. Again, there's a lot of legal language in this, but I'm pretty sure that our police chief and our captain are going to be able to put it in plain English for you. If we move on to section 3 of the document, It allows for anybody in our city who may need to retool. We know that the president has enacted the Defense Act that allows companies to remanufacture or reset up their manufacturing to provide supplies that are needed in an urgent need for our nation. So if any businesses in our community are going to do that, they may do so with an application to the mayor for it. We also have that if there, for some reason, it's a catch-all clause. If for some reason we've missed any business or industry that's not listed in this document, they are allowed to submit an application to the city's mayor to seek an exemption and be considered an essential business or an essential activity. I will also let you know that this is a serious order for people to stay home, and there are legal consequences to it. So there are penalty phases involved with it. If you're fined, you can be fined for the first time of up to $500. If you commit a second offense after having been warned, then you can also be imprisoned for up to 180 days with a $1,000 fine. All of our routes in our city, egress and ingress of streets, highways, public infrastructure streets, will remain open and functioning. So the key is, are you performing an essential activity, or are you performing essential business while you're on our streets, public highways, and other highways? This order will need to be published on the city's website, and it needs to be immediately available. I encourage that this order also be distributed out to the business community as soon as possible, so they too can read it and ascertain whether or not they believe they're essential or non-essential. With that in place, also attached to this is a list of social distancing requirements that have been published by the federal on what to do and how to best keep yourself free and clean of this COVID-19 disease. With that said, I'm going to now pass it over to the police chief, if I may, Mayor,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
ask that the police chief and the captain put all of this in plain English for you. If you have a very specific question about a particular industry or business, I can answer that for you. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So, just to give you a summary of what this is, and this is what I will also put out to the public. So the effect basically would take effect tomorrow evening at 11:59 p.m. and then you guys would, it would cancel on the 8th, which is Wednesday, unless you guys were to continue it. Beaches and parks, they'll remain open. People can use them for exercise and safe recreation, but you must exercise social distancing when you're out there. We get a lot of questions from people that want to know if they can kayak or boat because they want to go out and fish, and they feel that fishing and catching their food is their activity that is necessary. So the city decided we're going to keep that activity okay. Camping on the flats. The current ordinance says that camping, you get a 3-day grace period. Well, with this order, there is no grace period. Not camp on the flats. We don't need discarded trash from somebody that could be infected or ill. So camping is eliminated, and that is basically going in line with Port Aransas. We have seen that people are being kicked out of Port Aransas, and they're in turn coming to Aransas Pass. Again, the child and adult care facilities, as long as they're following the rules put out by the governor and the state recently, they can continue to operate. For violating a child custody order, as Roxanne pointed out, and she also pointed out as far as the exemptions, if you feel your business is essential, contact the mayor's office. Another thing to point out is during this time, price gouging is illegal. The state and the nation have both declared a disaster. If you suspect that somebody is price gouging, you can file those reports directly to Attorney General Ken Paxton's office, investigating those cases. It is also against federal law right now as well, because the president's office also passed an ordinance blocking price gouging. That's all I have to point out. Lynn, did I miss anything that we need to share with council?
I think that covers our order very well. I would like the council to know that over the last week, we've studied many of these orders. All three of our counties have issued orders. All three of them are different. One's more different than the next. We studied those. None of them fit us really well. We decided to write our own ordinance that would cover our entire jurisdiction, and in hopes that it fits our personal needs here in the city of Aransas Pass, and that it eliminates some of the confusion about which order people need to follow. If you choose to pass this order, if you're inside the city limits of Aransas Pass, this is the order you need to follow.
One of the other things I want to point out is Sanpat County and some of the other counties have issued a curfew. Our team discussed that at length. We decided this is a stay-at-home order where everybody's supposed to stay at home unless you're essential activity or an essential business. So there shouldn't be a curfew because it's 24/7 on this order. So that's why we didn't have a curfew. Everyone's supposed to stay home unless you're essential business or essential activity on a 24-hour basis until April the 8th at 11:59, or until further extended, amended, or terminated by the governing body of the city of Aransas Pass.
Okay. Got any questions? Also?
Do we have any cases reported in Aransas Pass? Positive?
As of this moment, no.
Okay,
It could change.
right.
So what's the favor of the council?
Well, I make a motion, we approve the stay-at-home order starting 11:59, March 28th through April 8th, 11:59.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Make
At
a-
this time, Mayor, I'd ask that the city manager and the city secretary immediately post this on the city's website and at City Hall. Partners in the city, such as the chamber, to distribute this out as quickly as possible to our business directory so that they can review it.
Okay. Anything else?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.